grace and His mercy. I'm not stupid enough or dumb enough to think that I'm sober on my own power. This is not a regular open meeting. This is a workshop. This is a 12-step workshop. And in the workshop, we generally get more information, or we're free to give more information than what you get in a regular meeting. Now this workshop, for the benefit of the people that don't know, it's entitled, anybody got a flyer? What's the name of this workshop?
Sponsorship.
It's the essential and basic fundamentals of sponsorship. That's what it's about. The essential and basic fundamentals of sponsorship. That's what this title is. Now I wrote this down on a board so that I won't get lost. It's the essential and basic fundamentals of sponsorship. That's what this is all about. And I have to say this, it's going to be some things that I bring out in the beginning that's not going to be clear. All of that stuff about keep it simple, stupid, and all of that don't apply in this meeting. It doesn't apply. It's basically for sponsors. This meeting is basically for sponsors and potential sponsors. And when you really look at that, everybody in the fellowship should be a sponsor or a potential sponsor. So it's open to everybody. But basically those who are sponsoring people will get the most out of this. Now, I'm going to cram almost 20 years of experience into about an hour. I didn't get this, what I'm about to tell y'all, overnight. It took me a while of big book studies, 12 and 12 studies, workshops, and attending different meetings. It took me a long time to pick this up. But for the people who sponsoring people, hopefully this is going to enhance what you have. And hopefully this is going to create more understanding of what we got so that we can be more effective in reaching others. Bill was on his hospital bed thinking about there might be thousands of other alcoholics I can help who might want this thing. Bill wasn't thinking about working with one alcoholic. Bill was thinking about working with thousands. And with all of the stuff that we have today, like the media and these social platforms and all this, instead of us thinking about thousands, we should be thinking about reaching millions. Y'all understand that?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, this when he said the essential and basic fundamentals of sponsorship, the first thing we need to do, the first thing we're going to do is look up this word essentially in the book. In the doctor's opinion, he mentions this word on page 28. What is that, y'all? Could you understand it better when you say X, V, what?
X. Let me see.
Oh, it's X?
It's different in different books.
Yeah, in the 4th edition. In the 4th edition,
Page 28.
they told us why men and women drink. Y'all remember what that's at?
Yes.
That's on page.
XXII in mine.
Okay, in the doctor's opinion, this is what they tell us. They say men and women drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. Now, most of us have been through the doctor's opinion. And when you get somebody who you've given an assignment to read the doctor's opinion and underline the words that they don't understand, when they come up with essentially, what's the first thing they come up with? What's the definition that they generally give you, and then stop right there? When they come up with this word essential, they come up with important, right? Necessary.
Yeah, that's what they call
Vital,
it.
right? But for us, we need to go more than that, because as sponsors, he's telling us men and women drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. we need to know exactly what that means, because we're working with people, so we need to know why they drink. That word essential is coming from, is relating to or constituting the essence. The essence is of the utmost importance. It also means basic, indispensable, necessary. In other words, without this, there can be no that. Without this, there can be no that. It's indispensable. It's going to the very nature of a thing. They drink essentially because they like the effect produced by alcohol. Now, once we look at that and see what's happening with that, we turn the book to page 29 on the doctor's opinion.
The next page.
On page 29, right after he made that statement, this is still the doctor talking.
This page XXIX.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. He said, one feels, that's, y'all got that? One feels that something more than human power is needed to produce the what?
Essential
Which chapter
psychic
is that?
change. And that's way down in
Which
the middle.
paragraph?
Yeah, when he said, I don't know which paragraph it is, but he
It's gonna be
says,
in the middle of the third paragraph.
in the middle, he said, one
the middle of the
feels
third paragraph,
that
right
something
after-
more
Thank you.
Yes.
than human power is needed to produce the essential psychic change. He's saying the essential psychic change because the problem they're drinking essentially. So the solution is going to have to be of the essential state. It's going to have to be of the same thing in order to attack that. He said, one feels that more than human power is needed to produce the essential psychic change. Now, Bill, on page 1314, we go to page 1314 because I'm tying this in, hoping that everybody, catch this. Bottom of page 13.
Bill's
My
story,
friend,
right?
yeah, Bill's story. My friend promised, when these things were done, I would enter upon a new relationship with my Creator. That I would have the elements of a way of living which answered all my problems. Belief in the power of God, plus enough willingness, honesty, and humility to establish and maintain a new order of things were the essential requirements. If the doctor could just say, one feels that something more is needed, he wouldn't tell us what it is. But Bill straightened that shit out quick. He said, the establish and maintain a new order of things were the essential requirement. Now, when we look at the essential, those of us who, especially working with people, when you look at that word essential, and then you look at what the doctor said, and you look up what we're suffering from, because the doctor was talking about essentially, what we're suffering from is a hopeless state of mind and what?
Body.
That's what they say. A hopeless state of mind and body. So the word state, which most people don't look up, because they ain't talking about Texas. When you look up the word state in a dictionary, it means condition. Y'all understand that?
Yes.
Whenever you look that word up, it's talking about a condition. A seemingly hopeless state of mind and body.
State.
But we have a threefold disease, don't we?
Yeah.
So we suffering from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. They left out the other element, didn't they?
Sure did.
Yeah.
The most important one.
Which goes back to the state. What's the other element?
Spiritual.
Spiritual, which goes back to the essence. Right? It goes back to the essence. So a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, which means condition. And this word essential again. is so important, this word, essential, is so important as to be indispensable, belonging to the very nature of a thing, and therefore being incapable of removal without destroying the thing itself. Y'all remember the prosaic steel girder?
Yes, it's in the book.
It's in the book. There is the prosaic steel girder.
Yep.
It's composed of electrons whirling around each other at incredible speed, right?
Yes.
If you remove the electrons, there would be no steel girder. Y'all got that?
Mm-hmm.
If you take away
One
the
element.
electrons,
One element.
there would be no steel girder. They're telling us that visual proof is the weakest form of proof, isn't it? So the word condition means this. Something essential to the appearance or occurrence of something else. I told y'all it's going to clear up. When it start clearing up, y'all let me know it's clearing up. Y'all let me know. It's going to clear up. Something essential to the appearance or occurrence of something else. Meaning what I'm looking at is not the reality at all. It's not the reality at all. As sponsors, anybody ever come to you complaining about this, that, or some situation, or some person, or something somebody said, or something they didn't do, that it was anybody? Y'all had that experience?
Yes.
Long time ago, the sponsor used to ask them, "What's really going on?"
Yep.
Y'all heard it?
Yeah.
So it's something the appearance condition. How did I explain that? It's something essential to the appearance or occurrence of something else. That's what it is. All right. This is so important. Well, to be honest with you, the best explanation for the big book is the big book. So we're going to use the big book to explain the big book. We're going to turn to page 85.
85.
Yeah, 85. Turn to page 85. Let me get in. I was hoping Richard was sitting up here so he could flip through these pages for me. Okay. They said,
Still sitting there, Richard.
Yeah. Still sitting there.
this is what they're telling us. On page 84, the bottom of page 84. This is what they say. And we have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol. For by this time sanity will have returned. We will seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. We react sanely and normally, and we will find that this has happened automatically. We will see that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. That is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it, neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we have been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We have not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. Y'all familiar, this is 10-step promises, right?
Yes, sir.
He said, it does not exist for us. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. That is how we react so long as we keep in fit spiritual what?
Conditions.
Conditions. So long as we keep in fit spiritual condition. This word is used in the big book many, many, many times and grossly misunderstood. So, now let's look for sponsors. Still on this word, condition. Now let's look at the 9 most effective conditions for sponsorship. Because the book tells us what it is. Some of y'all know it. But people I work with, I know it. But the 9 most effective conditions, we did a workshop on that one time, and somebody said there is no 9 most effective conditions for sponsorship. This is some shit you came up with. This is what they used to, that's what they say. You know, But they came to the workshop. They actually came to the workshop with beating on their head. Turn to page 18. Now we want to get this right, because y'all see where they got that squiggly right there? Page 18.
Down here at the base of the page.
You see about the ex-problem drinker? Y'all see that? The paragraph right up under that. Well, this is what it says. The ex-problem drinker who has found his solution, who is properly armed with facts about himself, can generally win the entire confidence of another alcoholic in a few hours. Until such an understanding is reached, little or nothing can be accomplished. How long do we generally hold a meeting for?
1 hour.
But they said a few hours here, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they're not talking about a meeting.
Not at all.
They're talking about one-on-one.
That's right.
One person working with another one. And this is the situation. That I'm going to read it. Y'all count that the man who is making the approach has had the same difficulty.
1.
How many that is?
1.
That he obviously knows what he is talking about.
2.
That his whole department shouts at the new prospect that he is a man with a real answer.
3.
That he has no attitude of holier than thou.
4.
Nothing whatever except a sincere desire to be helpful.
5.
That there are no fees to pay.
6.
No axes to grind.
7.
No people to please.
8.
No lectures to be endured.
9.
These are the what?
Conditions.
These, they say these are the conditions.
It's coming together, Kim.
Yeah, okay, it's coming together. Okay, good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Good enough. See, after such an approach, many pick up their beds and take up their beds and walk again. Now look at that expression you use. Take up their beds. Y'all ever heard the expression? Rise up, pick up your bed and walk. You ever heard that?
Yes, sir.
So, basically it's the same thing, because ain't nobody sleeping while they're talking, right? With a physical bed around them, right? So it's saying one thing, but it's meaning something else.
Okay.
All right? Now, something with the 10-step promises. Remember what we had, the 10-step promises?
Yes.
Something changed at the 10-step promises than what we was in before we came here. We was restless, irritable, and discontented, right?
Yes.
Problems had piled up and become astonishingly difficult to solve, right?
Yes.
Because we are no longer on the basis of operation that we was on when we first got here, right?
That's right.
So let's look at what we have in the basics. We done got, hopefully, gave some kind of explanation of the essential, right?
Yes.
And it really means something that's really unseen, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so when we go to the basic, this is what they tell us on page 60, I think. Yeah, page 60.
Got it.
Being convinced, y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
We were at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our life over to God as we understood Him. Just what do we mean by that, and just what do we do? The first requirement is that we be convinced that any life on
Run.
Run.
any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. On that what?
Basis.
On that basis, we are almost always in collision with something or somebody. So it's not the collision. It's the basis from which is causing the collision. Y'all see that?
Yes.
The word essential mean something, condition mean there is something essential to the occurrence or the appearance of something else. So the being in constant collision with somebody is only an outer manifestation of what's going on basically, right or wrong,
Inside.
within my essential framework. Y'all got that?
Yes.
And then he tells us on page 61, he said, what usually happens The show doesn't come off very well. He begins to think life doesn't treat him right. He decides to exert himself more. Now, he's on that basis. Y'all got that, right?
Yes.
He becomes on the next occasion still more demanding or gracious. This is what people is going to be coming to you with when you sponsoring them. Y'all got that?
Yes, sir.
As the case may be, still the play doesn't suit him. Admitting he may be somewhat at fault. Y'all done heard that? Well, how can I ain't all at fault. Tell you what, you know, he got to be y'all done heard that, right? So they're telling you when you're sponsoring people, you know, this is helping us. He said, he is sure that other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, indignant, self-pitying. What is his what?
Basic trouble.
Did they say what is his trouble?
No.
No. They said what is his basic trouble? Y'all got that?
Yeah.
It's completely different from what the trouble is. Y'all got it?
Yeah.
He said on page, that was, let me see.
61.
61.
That was 61.
Yeah.
Okay, now go to 62.
Uh-oh.
Selfishness. Y'all see that?
Yes,
There
sir.
you are.
Self-centeredness. That we think is the root of our trouble. You can't see the root. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
You see the tree
Yeah.
and the leaves and the branches and all the leaves are trouble, the branches, but you don't see it coming from the root. We step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us seemingly without provocation. But we invariably find, and y'all know what invariably means?
Every time.
Find means to come upon after a search. We invariably find that at some time in the past, we have made decisions what? Yeah, it wasn't the decision. It's what the decision is based on, which later placed us in a position to be helped. So, our troubles we think are what? Basically of our own making. Did they say our troubles are of our own making?
No.
They said they are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves. And the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot. Not that the other ones are not examples of self-will run riot, but the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot. So, from 62, now all of this stuff that's going on with this base and this basicness and whatnot, we turn to page 52. 52, yeah, we go to 52. Remember we was restless, irritable, and discontented and all that kind of stuff. Y'all remember that?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, we had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply to our human problem the same readiness to change our point of view. We were having trouble with personal relationships. Y'all know what they call this, right? They call this bedevilments. We were having trouble with personal relationship. We couldn't control our emotional natures. We were a prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. Was not a what solution?
Basic.
A basic solution to these external problems, right? All of these problems are external. So they said was not a basic solution. Haven't we been given a basic text?
Yep.
There's a reason for that. Because we have a basic problem and we also have a basic solution, right? And the principles we have is basic, what they call it? Basic principles, right? They're basic in nature. The question he asks is here. He said, was not a basic solution of these bedevilments. Basic solution. Singular.
Each one has.
Not more than one.
What's bedevilment?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
Hold on to your question. Yeah. You said, was not a basic solution, singular, of these bedevilments, plural, more important than whether we should see newsreels of lunar flight? Of course it was. Y'all know what lunar flight is?
To the moon.
Yeah, to the moon.
I respect Bill and them to the highest, because I got a basic problem, right? That's what they're telling me, right? That I need a basic solution for. And instead of me looking within, my concentration is on what the shit going up there on Mars and the moon. Y'all heard?
Yeah.
So I have to, with not a basic solution, more important than we should see newsreels of lunar flight. I'm looking outside of myself. All of that fits in with what Bill and them was talking about. Y'all heard that?
Yeah.
Can I interject there?
Yeah.
Say it again?
So that was even more far-fetched back then.
Yeah.
Because
wasn't no-
this
It
was
hadn't
in the
happened
late
yet.
30s. There was no such,
hadn't happened
there was-
yet.
That was fucking sci-fi shit.
Yeah.
That's like today saying, you know, black hole. I don't know what they would be saying today. There was
Yeah, space
No,
is
we were,
space.
you know, 40 years away from that shit.
And at the same time, right, and at the same time, we focus, he giving a picture of something that represents something. He giving me a picture of me looking outside of myself.
Right.
Whereas he said I'm gonna need a basic solution to these bedevilments. That's what he's telling me with this basic thing.
But what he said, so I'm trying to get that because he's saying something about that's not where the importance is.
The lunar flight,
The thought of the lunar flight is not where my mind should be, is what it sounds like he's saying. Right? Is that what he's saying?
he's training our thoughts. Hold your point. All the questions that you have, y'all can ask, but let's get through this first.
Okay.
Hold on to them. The basic solution is within, right? I'm looking without. And like he said, of a situation that wasn't even relevant yet.
Yeah.
Yet he put it in the book.
He's being sarcastic.
Because he put it in the book. Because this is what most people do. Look for external solutions to internal problems. And I go to concentrating a whole lot on the external and leave the internal completely alone. So he asked that question. He said, I'm going to say that this should help us to understand more clearly why they call this book a basic text and why the steps are called basic principles. This also shows visual proof is the weakest form of proof. What we see is not inward reality at all. Even the big book states that. We talked about the steel girdle. On 61, page 61 and 63, everybody should be familiar with what's going on 61 and 63, where they talk about the self-centered person. He's always this, he's always that, he's always this. All of that is outward signs of an inward condition. They're giving us examples, physical examples of spiritual realities. This is what the big book is doing us. And when we're working with people, we should be aware of that, much aware of that.
Are we gonna look at what bedevilment means?
We're going to get to it.
Okay.
You know, but bedevilments, basically, I'm talking to people who's sponsoring people. We know what bedevilments are, don't we? Troubles. Troubles, right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, troubles and outer troubles and shit that we're going through. He described the bedevilments when he described the situation. We couldn't make a living. We couldn't seem to be of real use to other people. That's the bedevilments.
Pray to misery.
Right there, he explained it right there. That's why I'm saying, as sponsors, we need to really understand that, and all of us don't. All of us don't. He said, the solution, in the doctor's opinion, we got to go back to the doctor's opinion. Because for us to understand what they're talking about, we really need to know what Bill and them were saying. And a person, everybody don't have to necessarily agree with this, but we want to go to page 26 in the doctor's opinion.
Okay.
Page 26 in the doctor's opinion. How you say that in That other language, y'all.
XXVI.
Say that again?
XXVI.
XXVI. In the doctor's opinion, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, y'all got that page? I know what it says. This is what it says. Bill said this. Though we work out our solution on a spiritual as well as an altruistic plane. Y'all see that?
Yeah,
Everybody see that?
yeah.
Though we work out our solution on a spiritual as well as an altruistic plane. Did he say, though we think out our solution?
No.
He said,
Work.
work it out.
He said, though we work out our solution, right? Though we work out our solution. Now this solution, I mean this altruistic, needs to be understood, especially by us. When you ask the average person, what does altruistic mean? They're going to tell you, well, I'm just, I'm doing things for little or nothing. I ain't expecting to get paid or whatnot. That's what we got, right? Most of us. Right? Am I right? Talk to me, y'all.
Yes.
All right. So altruistic, for us, we need to go a little bit further. The root word of altruistic come from Latin, one from French. One means altui in Latin and alter in French. It means others and other people. The root word of altruistic means others and other people. Though we work out our solution on the spiritual as well as the altruistic plane. That's what Bill said. They got a song by Jackie Wilson that said, work out, work all night long. Y'all ever heard that?
Yeah.
Huh?
No.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I'm that old.
Jackie Wilson himself wrote that song. Nobody wrote that song for Jackie Wilson to sing. He wrote that song himself. Jackie Wilson at the time was a stone cold alcoholic and a crackhead. He suffered more from alcoholism than he did from crack. When you look at the history, all you got to do is Google up. Jackie Wilson wrote and said this. If you really listen at the lyrics to this song, he said this. Oh, my mama move up. Step 1, honey, move back. Step 2, shuffle to the left. Step 3, wobble to the right. Step 4, work out. Y'all remember that?
No.
Huh?
I remember some of it.
Some of y'all should remember that when you listen to that song, Jackie Wilson. And then for the people who be having a problem with the 4th step, he said, work all night long. Yeah, yeah, baby, work on. Y'all don't remember that? If you look at the song, this is exactly what it's saying. Okay, now let's get back to this altruistic. And go up to page 28 in the doctor's opinion. Bill said, though we work out our solution on a spiritual as well as an altruistic plane. That's what he said, right? But on page 28, how you say that 28 in the numbers?
XXVIII.
Oh, y'all got that? The doctor said, we feel from many years' experience that we have found nothing that has contributed more to these people than the altruistic movement. Now going up amongst them. Y'all see that? Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Sure.
Bill called it a plane. Altruistic plane.
What is it?
Dr. Silkworth called it the altruistic movement.
Yeah.
He called it that after he read the big book. In other words, this plane don't sit still. It moves. It actually moves. That's how the solution is worked out on the altruistic plane. What I'm about to show now is exactly how it's worked out on the altruistic plane. Remember the meaning of altruistic. Others and other people, right? Y'all following this?
And selflessly helping others.
Oh, yeah.
Separate when you're looking at it as a dictionary definition. But when you're looking at it from the root word of altruistic, from the word from whence it derives, from whence it comes from, what it actually means is others and other people. Y'all got that? You're going to find 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe definitions of altruism in a dictionary. And if you go to a different dictionary, subject get a different set of words. But when you go back to the root of that word, you're going to always find the exact same thing. Altruistic. That means it's others and other people. It's going to be that bottom line, no matter how you slice the cake. That's how the solution is worked out. And the way they prove it to us is like this word others, in the big book in the 12 and 12, it occurs 204 times. That's other. Others occurs 155 times. Now, we're not going to cover them all, but the point is how exactly is the solution worked out on the altruistic plane. You turn to page 63.
It all comes down to the word how, open-minded, honesty, and willingness.
Turn to page 63.
Yes.
They said, remember I told y'all the plane don't sit still, it moves, right? Mm-hmm. All right. In step 3, they say, when we sincerely took such a position. Now this is a selfish person now. When we sincerely took such a position, all sorts of remarkable things followed. We had a new employer. Being all powerful, he provided what we needed if we kept close to him and performed his work well. Established on such a footing, we became less and less interested in who?
Ourselves.
Our little plans and designs. More and more, we became interested in seeing what?
We could
What we,
contribute.
you see how that plane started moving?
Yeah.
Yes.
When I'm thinking about some other people, as I start thinking, step 3 directly connects me with other people. Whenever I turn my will over to the care of God, God automatically turns me towards other people. I don't know if y'all ever saw that movie, The 10 Commandments, with Carlton Heston. Anybody ever saw that movie?
Charlton Heston, yes sir.
Yeah.
Y'all have seen that movie?
Yes.
That when Moses was on top of the mountain. I saw the movie. Moses was on top of the mountain talking to God. Oh, he was in close fellowship. I guess he said, God said, I know you love me, Moses, and I love you too. But bring your ass down from here and go get them other people and bring them here. Y'all understand? Mm-hmm. How you going to know, how is anybody going to know you done been to the mountain if you don't show nobody else how to get to the mountain? Right or wrong?
Right.
Right.
You had to get down from there. To get down. Go over here. Turn me immediately to other people. Right or wrong?
Right.
All right. He said, page 66 in the big book. No, the prayer. Let's look at the prayer on 63. They said, take away my difficulties so that what?
Victory.
Victory over them.
Over
May
them.
do what?
Shall
Bear
bear
witness.
witness
To who?
I would help them.
No, whereas before I ain't helping a goddamn thing. Right or wrong?
That's right.
Soon as I turn towards God, he turned me towards other people. Right or wrong?
Right.
All right, now you go to page 66.
That plane is moving.
That plane, that's the plane, moving. On page 66, this is what they tell us. We turn back to the list. Y'all see that?
Yes.
For it held the key to the future. We were prepared to look at it from an entirely different angle. We began to see that the world and its people really dominated us. In that state, the wrongdoing of others, fancied or real, had power to actually kill. How could we escape? We saw that these resentments must be mastered, but how? We could not wish them away any more than alcohol. This was our course. we realized that the people who wronged us were perhaps spiritually sick. Though we did not like their symptoms and the way these disturbed us, they, like ourselves, were sick too. We asked God to help us show them the same tolerance, pity, and patience that we cheerfully grant a sick friend. When a person offended, we say to ourselves, this is a sick man. How can I be helpful to him? That's a person who fucked over me. Y'all got that?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I'm asking God to help this person. Y'all follow me? The altruistic plane is moving like that. That's how it's moving. That's just at the fourth step. You've seen how it moves in the third step, and you see how it moves in the fifth step. Spiritual as well as the altruistic plane. But now for the fifth step, you got to turn to page 75. Turn to page 75 because the fifth step is more spiritual than anything else. We pocket our pride and go to it. Y'all see that? Illuminating every twisted character, every dark credit of the past. Once we have taken this step, withholding nothing, we are delighted. We can look the world in the eye. We can be alone at perfect peace and ease. Our fears fall from us. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. The feeling that the drink problem has disappeared will often come strongly. We feel we are on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. And this is where a sponsor got to be very careful, because all of these different feelings that person get as you're taking them through the steps don't last. Y'all heard me?
Yeah.
Like the step 3 feeling. Sometimes a great effect was felt at once. Remember?
Yes.
The newcomer gets such a great feeling from thinking he done turned it over that he do a 1, 2, 3 shuffle. Y'all heard? You see? So you got to be aware that he's changing from within, and he's feeling good, but don't get sidetracked by that, because you never know what's really going on with him until you get him to 12. Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
So he got this good feeling, and then on page 76, after that fifth step is most spiritual. It's worked out on the spiritual as well as the altruistic plane. But now step 6 tells us if you can answer to your satisfaction. We look at step 6. And then we come to this willingness, which is internal, right or wrong. That's why I don't need a sponsor to do step 6 with me, because he can't be willing for me. That's why they say you return home for an hour. Y'all heard me?
Yes, sir.
So in step 7, here's the prayer. When ready, we say something like this. My Creator, I'm now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of what?
My usefulness.
To you and what?
My
fellows.
Others.
Y'all see that altruistic plane moving about others?
Yes.
The solution is worked out on the spiritual as well as the altruistic plane.
It's clearing up.
Now they said, now we need more action, right? In step 8 and 9. Step 8 is concerned with who if it ain't concerned with other people. We made a list of all the people we didn't harm, right?
That's right.
That's other people.
Yes,
the
sir.
solution is worked out on the altruistic plane involving other people. Step 9 is all about who? Making amends to who?
Others.
Except when to do so with what?
Harm
To them
Or what? Or others. See what I'm saying? The solution is worked out on the altruistic plane. Step 10 tells us what? Continue to do what?
The same thing you've been doing.
Take personal inventory, right? And when wrong, what?
Promptly admitted it.
Promptly admit it. I'm fucked over somebody, I got to check that shit now, right or wrong. It's all about other people. Y'all understand?
Yes, sir.
Step 11 sends you home every night on page 86. We got to get this right. And this is what it's saying. When we retire at night, y'all got that?
Yep.
What were we resentful? Who will be resentful at?
Other people.
Other people.
Okay, selfish, dishonest, or afraid. Do we owe an apology? Who I'm more apology to? Yeah. Have we kept something to ourselves? We should be discussed with what?
Another person.
Yeah. Were we kind and loving toward who?
All
That's other people, ain't it?
other people.
Yeah, right or wrong. Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time, or were we thinking of what we could do for who? Others, right or wrong?
That's right.
Or what we could pack into the stream of life. But we must be careful not to drift in the word, remorse, or morbid reflection, for that would diminish our usefulness to who?
Others.
Others, right? The solution is worked out on the spiritual as well as the altruistic plane. Bill and them was smart enough to know what words to use, because it would never lose its original meaning. After making our review, no, he said, for that would diminish our usefulness to who? Others, right?
Yes.
That's step 11. Page, the 12th step, chapter 7, is entirely devoted to working with who?
Others.
They packed so much into that. They say if an alcoholic failed to enlarge his spiritual life through self-sacrifice and intensive work with another alcoholic, right? He can't survive the surgery. They put so much emphasis on that they devoted a whole chapter to working with others. The solution is worked out. That what they say, when all else fails, work with what? Will save the day. Right? That's what they told us, right? So hopefully, like I said, over the years, I didn't come upon this overnight. I didn't get the understanding that I have now overnight. But I know one thing for a fact. That the people who we help and we give them, help them to a better understanding of this book, they in turn would be empowered to work with others. Y'all heard me?
Yeah.
And they'll be more confident and secure in what they're giving them, right or wrong. You know, so that's why we do what we done. That's the reason why the sponsorship workshop was called. Even though it's a sponsorship workshop that's being called, it's mainly due for sponsors. Because the other people get up in here and start talking about, well, they told me keep it simple, stupid. You know, you talking over my head, or you talking over the newcomer head. You know, sometimes you don't be talking over the newcomer's head, you be talking over that motherfucker's head. Y'all heard me?
Yes.
You know, you talking over that motherfucker's head, and he all fucked up because he been up there for years and they ain't got a grasp of what this book is talking about. Y'all heard me?
Yeah.
So they said things like this. Well, he's sharing intelligence. He's not sharing his experience. You know, he's sharing intelligence. He's sharing knowledge. You know, that kind of shit they be saying. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
When the book itself tells you that the whole purpose of this thing, and I'm going to read it right here. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood praying only for what?
Knowledge.
And these motherfuckers talking about you don't need no knowledge. You crazy as a motherfucker. Y'all heard me? The whole point was to gain knowledge. But right knowledge. Knowledge of His will for us. Only for that. That's the whole point. Didn't they tell us in step 10? Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. Right or wrong?
That's right.
When I'm going through this process, I don't need to understand it in order for it to work. I don't have to understand it. All I have to do is follow the suggestion. And all of a sudden, I'm going to suddenly realize that God is doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. I can't even explain what happened. Y'all heard?
Yes, sir.
Anybody got any questions now?
I have a question.
All right.
So when you work with somebody, I went to many rehabs. There's one rehab I went to out in the Bay Area. And, they told me that you could get a newcomer to start doing this page 86 and 87 upon waking and retiring night. Right off the bat, you can get them to start doing something like that. Is that something you should not do?
Well, I tried that.
Okay.
I tried that. My sponsor asked me one day, I hadn't been through the steps completely, and he said, what you been doing? Can I say, I've been reading page 86 and 87. He said, who the hell told you to go way back there? That shit don't apply to you. See, the reason why is because it's for the person that has done the 10th step. Because the newcomer, he cannot answer these questions honestly because he ain't been through the process yet.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We done learned how to be honest with ourselves. So when we get to this and we question ourselves at night, because we can answer them honestly. I'm asking myself these 13 questions, right? Who answering them? I am, not God. Right or wrong?
Right.
So if the newcomer don't have the tools with which to answer those questions with, he can think he on a spiritual tangent all he want. But I'm gonna tell you something. Whenever you building a building, just like step 2 told us about this magnificent structure, you don't start in the sky. Do you?
That's right.
Them same ones been talking about, yeah, I've been reading page 86 and 87. They come up here telling us what God told them. Yeah, I was talking to God last night, man, and he told me that I shouldn't do this. And I said, well, why, Lord? And well, he said, well, because such and such and such. And I said, well, Lord, you think I got... Yeah, he told me, they're lying like a motherfucker. That answer your question? That's why it's called steps. Step means stages, grades, phases, measures, levels in a process. See, most people don't know what steps mean.
Yeah.
They just know we got a 12-step program. They never look up the word steps. You understand? So once you find out you're taking certain steps, degrees, do you ever teach a person, a first grader, algebra, and that motherfucker don't know basic math? Answer me.
Nope.
How many of us went to elementary school in first grade with algebra? Them motherfuckers talking about 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 take away 1 equals that. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
They didn't teach us no goddamn algebra. When you up here in step 11, you wearing the algebraic calculus part of this program. You got to come to the basic fundamentals first. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
And so when working with others, when we working with people, we don't send them home and be reading no 86 and 87. You just skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right, I got you.
It makes sense.
Easy, Kevin.
Thanks for clearing that up, brother.
Easy, Kevin.
You cleared that.
Is your hand, is it good to give some kind of homework, like, to like, after a chapter, the sponsee is reading to pass out homework on what he read? Like questions?
That depends upon his sponsor and him.
Okay,
You know, whoever he's sponsoring. See, I never get into that.
okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because they say, what they say is different sponsors sponsor different ways. Right? Everybody don't work steps the same way. Ain't that what they said?
Yeah.
And everybody's saying that in the room. Well, you know, sponsors is autonomous, you know, just like the groups. You know, they do whatever they want to do, right?
They do.
But the book never did say, rather have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed my sponsor's path. It never said that, did it?
No.
So we don't put them down because they're doing the best they can with what they have, and we need them. You know, so these people who working with people, it ain't the people who working the steps wrong that's relapsing. It's the one that's not working them at all. So we don't put those people down. We lift them up. We don't discourage, we encourage. That's why I never get in the way with a man or a woman and his sponsor. They come to me with some shit that they don't agree with. Their sponsor told them. I asked them, I said, what did your sponsor tell you? My sponsor told me to do that. I said, well, follow your sponsor's suggestion. Now, I can disagree with that, but I ain't going to tell him that.
Right.
Y'all heard me? Because he's going to use that as an excuse to smoke. You hear me?
Come on now.
That motherfucker be smoking. Well, none of them motherfuckers know what they're talking about, man. That motherfucker be out of here, quick. So no. I said, well, what does your sponsor tell you? Well, my sponsor, I said, well, follow your sponsor's suggestion.
Right on.
And leave it right there. Now, I can think it's full of crock-a-mimmy bullshit. But I'm not going to tell him that. Y'all heard me? No, I'm going to encourage, because he's trying to do something. That sponsor got him. He holding on to him. The sponsor is helping him. You see what I'm saying? You're getting him to this point. So, you know, everybody ain't for everybody.
That's right.
Y'all heard me? Sometimes we need the lunatics that's in the rooms. Because they can identify with the other lunatic newcomers. Y'all hear me? Look, y'all, we got food. Hopefully, somebody going to be serving the food. But anybody got... was this helpful? Was it helpful?
A couple more questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
Kenneth, do you strictly work out of the big book literature, or do you think that it's helpful to incorporate outside literature that's AA approved when it comes to figuring out how you're going to sponsor?
When I'm working with people, I use the textbook, the big book. I use the big book because that's what they use. And the reason why I do it is because what they themselves said. They said to show others precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book. So if that's the main purpose of this book, why would I introduce another element? Now, once I done got this person through the steps, and they choose to start getting other books and growing and learning, they can do that. But in the beginning, I'm going to use the big book and the big book only. Anybody I ever worked with, have I ever used any other book to get you through these steps?
Not with regards to sponsorship.
Not with regards to
But you did
sponsorship.
suggest 12 and 12 after.
Afterwards, the 12 and 12, I encourage them to do all that. But as I'm taking them through the steps, I use the big book only.
The big book.
They told me when I first started doing workshops here in Delta Club, this years ago, the old timers came and said, well, look, Kenneth, I got another book that you can use when you're doing these workshops. It's called Back to Basics, because my sponsees are coming to me telling me that you said such and such was in the book and I'm having problems. I said, well, I thank you very much. I said, but the big book is fine for me. I said, I thank you for your suggestion. I said, but the big book is fine for me. You know, I don't need nothing else. You know, the big book is fine for me. Trust me, I read a whole bunch of books, but I don't bring them books in here. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
And another thing about sponsorship, don't expect sponsors, I mean, so-called sponsees, because I don't call them that. I call them insurance agents. Don't expect them to be grateful to you. Y'all heard me?
Yeah.
They got some people you work with who scandalize your name and backbite your ass and gossip about you and all of this kind of shit. Don't expect them to be grateful for it, because our only aim is to do what?
Be helpful.
Be helpful. If somebody thank you, okay, that's good. But don't be expecting it. Y'all got that?
Yes, sir.
All right, it's time to eat. I hope we've been helpful in that.
Yeah.